Well, in the early days on Jefferson Boulevard was my first shop in 1946. I was one of the first speed shops then, and there wasn't many. And I used to hand make parts for little individuals for the street routers, and that's how I really got started making parts for practically no money. Just I had a little lathe in my backyard, and started my prior to 46 making parts for all the guys. That's how I got started. Then it grew into Anson Automotive, which I had a partner named Jack Andrews. My name was Louise Senter, and we called it Anson, A-N-S-E-N. Well, back in those days, I think there was a lot of little shops, but I was the original true speed shops. I had the first mail order catalog that was ever put on the market. It sold for 25 cents a catalog. And I had, back in those days, I made stuff that an ordinary guy would come up with an idea and you'd make it. But that's the way the industry grew. And I made over 1,000 different items, more than anybody in the industry. And all the time I was making something new every month. Maybe I made a big mistake by doing that. My first time in Indianapolis in 1946, I went back with a homemade race car with Louis Brahmi. And we got the race car, we built it in my shop in Jefferson Boulevard. We went back to Spider Webb, drove the car. We finished fourth in Indianapolis, fourth. And I think that particular year, if it wouldn't have split a gas tank at 400 miles, we probably could have won the race. It was a homemade car. And we got through with the car. We had no money for gasoline to go back to the racetrack. I had to go to all my friends and borrow money to go back to the racetrack. And people those days, you didn't want a car a hot rod. People didn't like it. They called it high performance. But the real name, the high performance, then later on, the hot rod grew with industry. But really, if you said hot rod, you was a bad boy. But high performance was the magic word. But see, a lot of people don't realize, like you told me, the old history of the hot rod industry. It really is back a good history of the industry. And if people knew the real background, such people as Escuderian, Harry Weber, and all the guys, when we started SEMA, they were the original guys. And when we went to start SEMA, I personally went out myself and tried to solicit to get members for SEMA. In fact, some of them didn't even want to join. They didn't think we needed SEMA. Well, they found out later that we did need SEMA. SEMA was the greatest thing we ever done for the industry.